Hello folks, and welcome back to Cotswold Bees HQ for the third in this series of videos for new beekeepers. Now this is going to be a particularly exciting one today. I know what you're thinking, Carol's been baking, they've got new cake. Well, absolutely right, but that's not the main reason. Today's the day we start beekeeping proper, and we're going to move our bees from their nucleus box into their proper hive. So what I did yesterday, I went and collected a nucleus of bees from the out apiary, brought them back and put them on top of the hive with the entrance facing the same way as the hive entrance. And I've let them settle for 24 hours. And it's really important that you do this as well. Even the nicest bees can be a bit emotional after a journey. So now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a sunny day, and that's a great time to move bees from the nucleus into the main hive. 2 reasons for that. Gives me an hour before tea and cake at Threeses, but most importantly, with it being nice and warm out there, the flying bees, the older bees, they're out there doing their thing. They're collecting pollen, nectar, and they're bringing it back to the hive. So what this means is that I've got less bees in the box, and that means it'll be easier for me to move them over and kinder on the bees, and that's really important. So sun's shining, I've got my beekeeping jacket on. Without any ado, follow me down to the apiary and we'll go and put those bees into the hive. So I put an old floor on the top of here just to protect the bees last night because it rained, and I'm now going to take that off. And just before I move this nucleus box, I'm going to give them a little bit of smoke in the front just to let them know I'm coming. And it's the tiniest bit of smoke we use. We only ever use tiny amounts of smoke when handling bees. If we need lots of smoke, there's something wrong. And so we should actually look at what's wrong with our bees, not are we using too much smoke. So let's now move this nucleus box off the top, open up the hive, and then we can pop these bees in. I'll take the top off the box now. Bees have stuck it down as they do with everything. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of smoke in there. Just take the top off, and here are my bees ready to go into the hive. Now the only trouble with these boxes is the frames fit very tightly, so I've just got to be very careful when I take them out. As you can see, the bees are perfectly calm, they're not worried about me being here. I probably won't need any more smoke at all. So I'm just going to take this first frame out, which is always the most difficult one. The hive tool, it's always best to put it in here rather than here, because you don't want to break these lugs off the end. So here we go, just going to put it in there, loosen it up a bit, and then very gently take the first frame out. The golden rule with bees is very simple. If you think you're being too gentle, just be a bit more gentle. You really can't be too gentle. So here comes the frame. I'm not inspecting the bees at this stage, but I'll just keep an eye on what's going on. And this is actually a frame really glistening, you can see, and this is all full of nectar and honey. And so I'm going to pop this in the same order as I take it out of the box into the hive. And now I'm going to take the second one. So again, my hive tool in here, very gentle. Bring it back, lift the frame, have a look. I've got lots of brood on here, and we'll talk about that next time as to what that's all about and what to look for, but for the time being I'm just going to put this one in. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the next frame, nice and gentle, gently lift it up, and all the time I'm working over the box or over the hive, so that if I do have to find the queen, and indeed here she is. So you can just see the queen there, she's just run through the other side. So let's just have a look. There's the queen. There she is with a green dot on her head. She's a 2019 queen, just running through there. So I'm over the box or over the hive. So if I were to drop her, she'd drop into the bottom of the box or the bottom of the hive. And again, you notice I haven't used any more smoke and I don't need to. In they go. These frames are a little bit old, and I'll probably be changing these frames through the season. They were frames that we used at the end of last year, when we bred these bees. And just one more to go. And there we go. That's the last of the bees into the hive. Just push all these frames up so they're nice and even. And then I can just put that frame back in that I took out. And so I've now got a full box. And in fact, I can't count. I didn't really need that extra frame. So that's given me 12 frames, so I can put my dummy board back in and I don't need that frame at all. I've still got some bees in the box. And so all I'm going to do is just shake those into the hive. There'll be a puff of bees, a bit of a cloud of bees. They'll settle down really quickly. So here I go. Just a bit of a shake. In they go. And I'll leave the box down there for any bees that are still in there. They'll fly out and go into the hive. And I'm going to take my crown board, which should normally be up here, and I'm going to put it directly on top of the bees. And I'm going to put it on very, very gently. And then I've got my feeder here. Now my feeder I've filled with sugar syrup. It's 1 pound of sugar to 1 pint of water. And I'm simply going to invert that over there. I'm going to put my empty super back on around there. Just moving those bees off there. Come on, out the way. There you go. Very careful not to crush any bees. I'll put my queen excluder up here just for the moment so I don't lose it. My roof on. And I'm now going to leave that hive alone for 10 days except for checking the feeder. Let them settle in, and then in 10 days time we can come back and we can do our first inspection. And so here are our bees just 20 minutes later. You can see they're going in and out the entrance. And if you look on their legs, you can see lots of pollen going in. And that means I've got a laying queen, but we've already seen her. So hopefully all should be well. And let's keep our fingers crossed for 10 days. So here we are back inside. That all went really well. Just to recap, it's really important that we leave those bees alone now for the next 10 days and let them settle in properly. I'll check the feeder, but other than that, nothing at all to do for the next 10 days. Well, of course, that's not quite strictly speaking true because we've been out beekeeping, and so now is the time once again for tea and cake. And the cake to celebrate today is it's rhubarb cake today. And once again, for anybody who wants the recipe, go to the website www.cotswoldbees.co.uk and you'll find the recipe there. So until next time when we do the inspection on the bees, happy beekeeping and really happy cake eating.